Well, hey, welcome to Movie Community College. I am the professor, and this is going to be my movie review slash critique of the performance of SRK, and my name is Khan. I think I probably should kind of lay out a couple things here. This movie review is going to be on the film itself. There's going to be a portion of it. This is on the film itself that is kind of tied but yet separate to SRK's performance, because I kind of want to do both. I kind of want to talk about the film and I want to talk about his performance, and at some points they'll cross over, and other parts they have nothing to do with each other. So please keep that in mind. When I first saw the trailer, it was recommended to me to do a reaction to it, and it made me cry. It was emotional. It kind of spun me off into a conversation about some things that have happened here in my life in Arizona. And I think probably the best way to move forward with this is to start with Khan's performance. Let's kind of put that on the table first and deal with SRK's performance. It was really, really good. I watched it with the Warrior Queen. We sat down and watched it together, and I've made statements before about SRK. Could he be overrated? I don't think he is. I think he's a good actor. I think he has good ability. And the more that you find out about his backstory, the more I find out about his backstory, about how he's broken through the caste system in Bollywood and has kind of become King Khan. It's an impressive story. He's not a douchebag. He's not, you don't hear these crazy weird things. There is controversy with him, though, about what he said about India and Indians being kind of, harsh, judgmental people, if I understood it correctly. Compared to Pakistan, which is kind of another thing. I think it serves everybody well when actors just keep their mouths shut and act. You know what I mean? I don't think fans really want to hear their political views. But needless to say, his performance in this was spot on. I've kind of come to the conclusion to say he is not overrated as an actor. He reminds me of Tom Cruise. He really does. Tom Cruise can step into certain roles, and you are just amazed by him. There was a film called The Last Samurai that Tom Cruise did, which is an amazing movie. It's one of my favorite all-time movies, and he gives a performance of a lifetime where you're just like, bravo, bravo. And then you see him do some kind of stupid movie, where he's in something else, and you're like, what the hell was that, dude? Well, So I think that's what happens with SRK. I think he steps into some films. His acting is fine, but sometimes his choice making isn't. And him as an actor has talent. And I retract my statements about kind of, poo-pooing on him. I think he's a fine actor. I do think sometimes he makes strange choices. Maybe it's about money, maybe he has a friend tied to the project. Maybe he thought it would go another way and it just kind of doesn't. So I think that's kind of the one thing to keep in mind about SRK. Very talented, but sometimes the commercial choices are not the best. They don't suit him the best. But he is a good actor. He is a very good actor. He gave a very good performance in My Name is Khan. I thought his portrayal of his Asperger was good. Pardon me. Excuse me. I'm just getting over a cold. I apologize, everybody. And I'm not that good at editing to edit that out. So, anyways, bear with me. I thought he did a good job. Now, it was touching to me because we know my wife's best friend, the Warrior Queen's best friend, Wendy, has a son who has Asperger's. His Asperger's doesn't manifest the way it did in Khan. My Name is Khan, where he was kind of a idiot savant, where you just can't really react to social cues, but you're smart in one area. That doesn't really happen with him that I've seen. I don't know, maybe it does. And it was, interesting to see Asperger's kind of put in the spotlight, because you don't see that much, and it's kind of a one-off diagnosis that people aren't familiar with. So I thought that was cool. The movie itself, very emotional. I cried during the movie. I laughed during the movie. I got angry during the movie, righteous anger. And I would kind of give this movie kind of 2 grades. The introduction of Khan and his backstory from when he was a little kid to going to America and meeting the hairstylist and selling the body creams and the beauty supplies as one aspect of it. So I would say pre 9/11, that portion of the film, me and the Warrior Queen were tickled pink by the performances. We were tickled pink by the story. It was adorable. It was cute. It was hand-holding. We laughed. We cried. We just had a great time with the film. And if the film stopped right there, I'm giving My Name is Khan an A. Without a doubt, an A. Without a doubt, an A film. However, it goes into 9/11. 9/11 is very touchy for the American, right? Very touchy. And I understand that if you are Muslim, if you are a Mohammedan, living in America after 9/11 may have seemed to be a strange place. The things, and again, this is from the white dude's perspective, so maybe it's a little different. The things that they showed, the reaction to folks, was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable, and I'm sure I know that it's happened, and I shared in My Name is Khan trailer reaction that not far from me is a gas station that is owned by some Sikhs, and I know the family. I've had dealings with the family, business dealings with the family. Very nice people. I've been around Sikhs quite a bit, and genuinely nice people. I've never walked away with an encounter from a Sikh saying, "What an ass." Never, ever has it happened. The man who owned the gas station after 9/11 was shot down. Some local white dude, really upset about 9/11, pulled up to his gas station, walked in, and shot him dead in front of his little kid. And it was a tragedy. It was truly a tragedy. Nobody deserves that, regardless of your political view or your religious ideology. Nobody deserves that. Ugly American doing that. Very bad. Very bad. So we saw in the film people kind of being reacted to, right? That were Muslim after 9/11. We saw it with Khan. Khan wants to convert, he wants to go to the memorials because he feels sad over what has happened, but he's dressed in his Muslim garb. I can understand the optics of that to the American who looks at him like, the hell is this? Oh, it's on, buddy. You're next. I mean, I understand that. As you saw this play out in the film, as you started seeing the struggle of Khan being a Muslim and dealing with it, as you start seeing the pressure being put on his Hindu wife because her last name is Khan, as you see the death of her son because of what was going on and her blaming Khan for it, and he goes out on this venture to go see to try to get to the president. The thing that bothered me about the film was it felt like it got away from the story, the narrative of Khan, and became a propaganda liberal film to push an agenda. Look at how bad the Americans are with Bush and this whole thing that has happened, right? Look how bad they are. And that bothered me. And there were inconsistencies that were shown. And I understand, like, during a film, exaggerations happen because you're telling a story. I understand that. And so there's going to be some inaccuracies. When they showed the looting and the harassing of Muslims in Dearborn, Michigan. That's not accurate at all. Dearborn, Michigan, here in America, is called Dearbornistan. It's called that by Americans, Dearbornistan. Americans try to stay out of Dearborn, Michigan, because it is so Muslim and so it almost has Sharia law. It almost does. The police issue warnings. Don't go in there during holy festivals. What are you doing, dude? We're not going to come get you. And there have been instances where Americans have gone in and been jerks, been abusive, but they've barely escaped with their lives. And so that kind of bothered me. And this could be my own sensitivity to the issue. Could be. But when they started showing, like, Obama, and they started showing it just felt more like a propaganda film. I felt like we were on a good story, a good love story, a good look at some dude with Aspergers who's overcoming. This really could have been a Forrest Gump moment, and we saw. I wanted to see the world more through Khan's eyes and not through a narrative that was being placed. I mean, we got into some torture. We got into when they hold Khan. Khan makes he calls in the FBI over the cleric thing, and they're holding him and they're torturing him. This isn't just because he's Muslim. The American laws have been changed, and a lot of Americans are upset by it because they do this to anybody now. I can be picked up because I'm a conservative Christian, conservative in my ideology, in my political views, and I'm viewed as a terrorist. I'm not a terrorist. I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm making videos. I'm doing podcasting, right? I listen to music. I watch movies. But the same thing can happen. So I struggle with the portion of the grade of the propaganda film-ish thing that was happening there. It really bothered me. It kind of made me uncomfortable, made me angry. When they showed the scene of Georgia and the hurricane coming, and it's only the Muslims coming to help out Mama Jenny and her little crazy head daughter. Dude, that's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. The National Guard is there. You couldn't even get in there if you wanted to. We saw it with Katrina. And what they showed of Georgia doesn't look anything like Georgia. Anything. I mean, it was a sound. I mean, it doesn't. What they showed looked like, I don't know, Arizona. It wasn't Georgia at all. Completely different topical, but whatever. I digress. So, when I look at Khan's performance, his performance is an A. He's a good actor. I think he takes some crazy roles, but he's a good actor. The film starting off, I give an A to. How it ended, I would give an F to. The politicalness of it. And this could be my own bias. It could be. Feel free to rip me if you want to in the comments. But so when I combine those two together, what started off as an A movie love story, overcoming personal relationships, turned into what I felt like was a propaganda film of, lift up Islam, put down the American. That's what it felt like to me. And I have no issue with Islam. I really don't. We've had conversations in all the different videos, people sending me comments about stuff. And I understand, like, radical Islam is different than normal Islam, right? That normal Muslims look at radical and say that's not Islam. That's craziness. It'd be like the Ku Klux Klan in America being it's Christian. No, it's not Christian. People who say they are Christian, but they're not following the tenets of the Bible. They're being crazy, right? I understand that. So this movie, I give a final grade of a C to. I think it's worth seeing. If you have friends who aren't not interested, who aren't familiar with the Bollywood, I would not start them on this. If you got American friends that you want to share a film with, don't start them with My Name is Khan, because they may go out of their mind when they see this. I would start him with Barfy. That's what I would start him with, Barfy. Anyways, that's my review. I'm going to be watching Fan, and I got a couple other Khan movies that I'm going to be watching. So I say, Khan, great performance. The beginning of that film, My Name is Khan, outstanding. And then we get towards the end of it. So overall, I'm going to say a C. C is the final grade. Thank you for watching. Please share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. That way you can stay up to date on all our latest videos. And I thank you. Peace.